We're gonna make a beat from start to finish. I'm gonna try and do this quick, so enjoy. Alright, so we're gonna try and make a quick beat today. It isn't gonna be anything special per se. More of just trying to work quickly, stay focused and finish a track. So yeah, go ahead and pick a kick drum real quick here. Find something that's nice. Little velocity difference there. Give you kind of like a step kick, so your main kicks are hitting hard. Just a little bit is all it takes. Get your loop on. Go ahead and add a snare. Yeah, the key for me anyway is just to keep moving quickly. Get everything out, then go back and adjust. So yeah, it's pretty easy to change your kick or snare later with these MIDI clips, so it's not imperative that you find the perfect snare right away. Just put something in. Yeah. Same thing with the hi-hats here. Just get a placeholder. Just keep working. Just keep moving through instruments. Keep adding layers. Too much. Again, drawing in some velocity here. Give the hats a little bit of personality. Yeah, I like to throw a groove on there most times. Just moves the hats a little bit to the left and right. Give you some more natural feel. Some alternate hats here. A lot of static on that. Play with your tempo a little. See what feels right. Should do. It's a extended bar to work with here. Control J, consolidate. A little more variation. Quick little snare roll on the end there. That'll work. always change the color of clips that are not the same as the others, just to keep myself organized. Staying organized is hugely important. Alright, time to add some melody here. This is the part that usually slows me up the most, unfortunately. So we'll just find a quick sound here, something simple. Get a quick melody going, maybe some chords. Close enough for now. Just something quick, you know, just stay moving. I know it seems like I'm putting no time into this, but I have to do it. I've got to just keep moving. Go back. Fine tune it later. Simple chords here. Throw in a quick bass line here. Something simple. Here we go. All right. For bass lines, yeah, just play around with the notes you've already used for your chords there. I like to copy the kicks onto the bass line sometimes, just to give you an idea of where your kicks are hitting. Yeah. Play around here with some notes. Oops. It's way too high. There we go. There we go. throw a crash in real quick. That'll work. Try not to get too caught up in your sound libraries. It's a good way to get lost and quit being productive. You can always change the sounds later, especially if you're using a drum rack, which I'm not here, but yeah. Cut that low end out, turn it down. I don't really like that last chord. Drop that. Yeah, make sure to stay organized. It just helps so much. Name your shit, you know, color coordinate, whatever you gotta do. Also make sure you've got the file saved here. That would have been bad. Even the best of computers crash sometimes, so save often. Control S, Control S, Control S. Breezy. Quick and breezy. Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. Alright. Duplicate this chords channel, pick a different sound. Looking for something a little longer here, more pad-like. That'll work. It's hitting a little late. Try and move the attack up a little bit. Probably move all the MIDI notes as well. Yeah, just Again, we're just trying to move quick here. Apologize. Try and differentiate a section of hi-hats here, maybe for like a chorus of some sort, or just something different. All right. Yeah. So holding control is duplicate here. Control D is duplicate, I guess, but if you hold control and drag a bar, it'll copy it. Control S all the time. Alrighty. Since this is kind of a classic feeling song, I'm going to try and stay away from the electronic sounds. Sorry about that. Just going to use these same chords that I used earlier, but draw them out into some notes here. Keep it pretty simple for now. Just experiment, move stuff around. Try not to get too caught up in boxes. Again, I'm just trying to keep moving here. Keep laying out structure. This is probably something we could keep going the whole time. That's better. So it's not a great idea to make cuts like I already did. Alright, moving right along. Try and just find some effects really quick to throw in there. Let's try this. Throw some reverb on there. Pan that bitch. Still not quite happy with this bass line here. Again, I should not be making these cuts until I'm all done, because I have to continue to make them over and over if I change the bass line. So. So let's see, we're sitting at 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Just throw some more quick effects in there. Yeah. Throw some reverb on here in a minute. Cut out the lows. Alright, gives us some nice effects going throughout, keep it a little interesting. That could be fun. I don't know about that. Try and see what key it's in. It's kind of all over the place here. Just throw some sort of pitch bend on it or something. Let's try something like that. Quick pitch bend here. Oh yeah, I need to do this inside the clip actually. Click that little E down there. Nope. There we go. Transposition modulation. Oops. God damn it. Try this again. Alright. Got the line. Drop it down a couple octaves. No. Oh, Jesus. Struggling a little bit. There we go. 24. I'm not sure about this effect here. I'm just gonna go ahead and scrap it. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that effect, and instead of tinkering with it, just scrapped it. Alrighty, so I just added a little bit of reverb to the snare, the percussion through the reverb channel, or the return. Fills it out nicely. Not really happy with all that static. Yeah, so I just cut the static out of the kick here. We're going to need to add another kick to replace the high end of the kick, so we have some punch and some attack on that kick. Layering kicks is pretty easy with these drum racks set up. Again, I'm going to have to duplicate all my kicks, so I should not have made the cuts that I made until I was done. Ooh, that's nice. Drag that in. Just go ahead and copy the MIDI notes to the new kick so it's hitting at the same time. Drop the velocity on those a bit. Oh, whoops, we need this EQ on just the low end for this top guy. There we go. Cut out the low on the top end, kick. Nice. EQ both the kicks together here. Fade out the top end so it's not too long. Look for any weirdness here. Our sub bass is going to be covering most of that range, so we can cut a lot of sub out here. Should do that okay. Cut some more sub bass out. Some sidechain compressing here, or parallel compression, I mean. So this compressor is compressing the snare, as well as the dry snare coming through. There's a nice full sound. It's a little too much on the low end. got to copy our double kick throughout the track here. Like, maybe a bit too much static on that. You can replace this one. I'm just going to quickly go through each element here, equalize, maybe do some compression. It's nice to keep a lot of higher frequencies out of hip-hop tracks so that the vocals will stand out when they're added. I usually like to cut the lows out of everything except for bass and then your kick. Cut your highs about 3 to 5,000 kilohertz, I mean. That should be okay. This is a nice little trick. Throw an auto pan on there, sync it to the beat, turn the phase all the way to 0. It's basically an LFO filter at this point. Gives the instrument a little bit of movement. Kind of adds some groove to the track. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Quick little upper here. All right. All right. So we're getting pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and group up similar tracks. Control G. That way we can mix them down to audio, or bounce them down to audio and be a little bit closer to finished. Yeah, so that gives us 4 main tracks now. Now we'll go through each of the group tracks and move these around a little bit. There we go. I'm going to change this sound up. Alright, we're going to go through all the groups now and put some processing on the whole group channels. The drums, the bass, the melody, and the effects. Throw a couple EQs on there, some compression, maybe some limiters. check, see what we've got coming through the sides here, which is not much. Quick little plug-in here will fix that, at least for the snare. It's called Dimension Expander. Doesn't take much. You turn the size and the dry wet almost all the way down, but it's just fills your snare out so it's not completely mono. Stand out a little bit more. All right. Press these drums together. Ratio 4:1. Just a little bit of gain reduction here. Don't want to kill your transients on your snare or anything. It's just kind of tightening the drums together a bit. It's all about a lot of little subtle changes and nothing too much in any particular stage. Coming out at -2 here. I can throw a limiter on here. Sausage fattener adds a lot of grit and saturation as well as a built-in limiter. Sometimes it's too much, so use very sparingly. Even if you're not cranking on the knobs, it distorts the signal a lot, so it's a good plugin, but definitely more suited for electronic gritty distortion. Doesn't take much. This will give us back up to almost 0. And the limiter will seem to bring out the snare and the hats a little bit more, so you can lower those volumes a bit. because that limiter is going to pump them back up. Alright, let's move over to the bass here. Everybody loves their bass. People will probably give me shit for doing this, but I don't care. I've played with bass lines for a long time now, and I always seem to have the best results when they're limited before my next step. Nothing too crazy, but just kind of equalize and crunch it a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to want to adjust the levels on everything here, because it'll be frozen into one track in the next step. So we're just trying to level everything on this melodies channel. Spread this out a bit. Some stereo width. Do a hard cut on our lows here. Looks like these frequencies are maybe resonating a little too much here. Cut those out a bit. We're going to go ahead and sidechain. Well, let's compress it together first. Alright, we're going to go ahead and sidechain these. Sidechain it from the kick and the snare here, just to make sure our drums are popping through. We'll just use the whole kick here. Yeah. Shouldn't be too noticeable here, just gives us a little bit of room for our drum and our kick and snare to breathe here. You don't want to chop into the sounds too much. I don't always do this, but sometimes you can overdo this effect for effect. But we're just trying to save a little room here. Effects shouldn't need much. They're both pretty low volume. Just kind of double check that they're both coming out at about the same volume. So negative 22 and negative 19. That's okay. That's close enough. Got them panned out a little bit. Using your stereo width is always good. Gives you a little bit more room for your mono instruments, which is typically your bass and your kick drum in the low end. Okay. Alright. So that should do us. Let's see. Control S a million times every day, all day. And then let's see. Okay. So now we can go through and make our cuts at the end of bars, cut out the hi-hats, things like that. Simple effect. Kind of warns the listener that there's something different coming up because there's drums missing. Now we can do some of this at the next stage, but we will not be able to separate the elements because the drums will be one track. So if there's any separation you want to do before mix down, do it here. Quick little something here at the end for some variant. Nice outro. Oops. Go ahead and crank up the amount to 100. By the time it gets to the end, we'll change the rate. Get faster and faster as it goes, all the way down to 1/32. Boom. I've got my second return track set up as a delay, so we'll just throw some delay on there at the end for a nice fade out, or whatever. Alright. Alright. Well, that puts us a little over an hour. Yeah, so we're gonna probably call this good for now. The next step is to just do a quick mix down, which entails rendering each of these grouped tracks to their own audio track, and putting them in a new file, and adding a couple more effects, mixing it together. Ooh, there's my girlfriend there. So yeah, keep organized again. I keep all my bounces for each project in the same place. Yeah, so let's go ahead and make a new folder here. Name of the track we're going to put the bounces in. Breezy. Oops. Breezy. Alright, folder's there, good to go. Go back to Ableton. And we're just going to select, this part's important, solo the track, make sure your master's at 0. And then select a rememberable amount, because you need to select the same amount for each track. Go ahead and export it. Find your folder you just made. And I usually just name it the name of the track and then the actual track. So, Breezy Drums. Go ahead and fast forward through all of these renders. I'm just going to do the same thing that I just did here, but for all the tracks. Again, the important part is that you select the same time range for each track so that everything lines up nicely in the next step. So yeah, I'm going to take a break really quick. We'll go ahead and fast forward through the end of this, and I will meet you on the other side for the mix down. Alrighty. Alright, so oh, pardon me. Here we are in a new file. I'm just gonna go ahead and get it all set up before we get going here. So yeah, we're gonna need the 5 tracks here, one for drums, bass, melody, FX, and the pre-master. Setting up a pre-master is just kind of nice. It's kind of like how recipes for cooking don't scale. If you just select all your tracks and bring them up or down in volume, it's going to change the mix. So the pre-master just gives us a way to send all of our tracks there, and then adjust the pre-master volume instead. So you'll need to turn this on the monitor there for the pre-master. Send all of your tracks to the pre-master, except for the pre-master, of course. Alright, so we've got all our tracks set up. We don't need any return tracks, so I've deleted those. Go ahead and select the current beat per minute that you were just working on. I think we were at 82, it might have been 84. We'll see really quick here. But yeah, just drop your tracks in one by one on their given channel there. There we go. That's all 4 of them. You'll want to go through and unwarp each track, and then drag the start position back to the beginning to make sure everything's lining up. These ones seemed fine. This one, see, this one's a little off, so just move that there. Everything should line up. I turned our pre-master down 5 decibels so that we're not going to be peaking, because all of these tracks are pretty loud on their own. Now you can kind of take a look at your waveform here. That looks pretty damn good, to be honest. We shouldn't have to do too much to these tracks. The bass is going to be full because we limited that on the way out. So it looks like it's still peaking. I'm not really sure what this is happening here because I thought I had a limited. Anyway, maybe somebody could tell me what's going on there with that. Why that's still peaking if I limited it in the last step. But alright, so yeah, I got all of our tracks set up here. Everything's looking pretty good. If you had any just like huge spikes in your bass waves or anything like that, go back to your MIDI file and fix them. This stage, everything needs to be pretty close to done. You don't want to be adjusting too much from here on out. It's kind of just mixing everything to volume. So yeah, we'll find a loop point here. Doesn't want to loop, which probably means it was at 84 beats per minute. There we go. Now everything lines up all peachy keen. Select a part of the track that you can work with here. This should work. Loop that bitch. Yeah. So again, this is just minor changes on this stage of the mixdown. You don't really want to be adjusting anything too much at this point. It's kind of just a final stage here. So we'll put an EQ on there. Take a look at that. Looks pretty balanced. I might take a little bit of this low end of the snare out. Low end is good. You need that punch, but I like the classier sound of the. I don't know what the hell. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and compress it again now that we've got the whole drum track rendered. Just some minor compression, maybe 2 to 1, 2.5 to 1, something like that. Shorter attack is okay. So not really looking to do too much here. Just kind of gluing the track together, the drums together. Give it a little bit of makeup gain. Okay. I'm not sure if this is the right thing to do or not, but I have been enjoying putting a limiter on my drum tracks. People out there are probably going to freak out for these limiters I'm using because it seemed like such a no-no when I first started, but to get that perceived volume that everybody else's tracks have, it just feels like I need to have those drums coming out as loud as possible. So we'll give them just a little bit of gain. You can see I don't even think I'm hitting 2 decibels of gain reduction there. Just getting everything nice and loud. So that'll do it for that. Let's jump over to the bass here. Put an EQ on there. Cut out the highs again. Doesn't seem to be much going on, but it's just good to cut them out. We should also probably make a slight notch for our kick drum. If we hop back up to the drum track really quick, we can find the frequency that our kick drum is coming through at. I want to say it was like 80 or something like that. Yeah, 82 is where you're getting the main thump from that kick drum. So we'll go back to our bass channel and put a cut at 82 hertz, 85, something like that. This just gives the kick a little bit more room to breathe. Doesn't need to be too drastic. It shouldn't really change the acoustics too much of the sound. And again, we're going to limit this so we're not peaking. Just a little release. Just getting rid of those high, or those whatever's peeking through there. Just a teeny bit. Alright. Let's see. I'm going to sidechain the bass here from the kick. We'll try and isolate the kick. Everything maybe 600, 500 hertz and below. It should just be the kick. A little bit of the snare, of course, but you'll get a nasty, nasty click most times you do this. You're supposed to adjust the attack and release to get rid of it, but it just doesn't have the same effect of making that space. So we're going to just leave that click there, put another EQ on, cut out the highs, which should cut that click out. There we go. And this is just giving the kick and bass a little bit more room to breathe together, since there's so much bass frequency going on. Bass always gets muddied up easily, so the melody sounded pretty good. I think we leveled that pretty well in the previous step. I just cut out some more lows, cut out a little highs here. Again, just minor changes. This shouldn't be anything too drastic. The effects are pretty minimal. I'm not too worried about doing much to that. Alright, now I usually go through, I find a point of the track that I can work with that has all the elements. Got the pre-master turned down 5 still, and then I usually drop a couple decibels just to start. Yeah. So, yeah, and then turn everything else all the way down. Start with your drums, or whatever you want to come through the most. It's typically the drums. And then just add in your elements slowly. You can see on our meter here, we're coming out at -8 with the drums. So I'm gonna add this bass in until we're coming out at negative, I don't know, 5 or so, about what the channel's set at. You can see it popping up already as we bring the bass in. But just use your ears here. I get stuck in numbers a lot, and it's not good. You need to make sure you use your ears more than anything. That's starting to sound nice and full there. You can see we're reaching up to -7, -6.8, 6.42. So that means we're adding 2 decibels on top of our drums worth of sub bass. That seems about right, and it looks like the sub bass is coming out really close to what the kicks are coming out at and the drums. Let's go ahead and add in the melody to taste. On the master channel, we're going to add some harmonic exciters, so your higher frequencies don't need to be very loud, because they're going to get boosted on the master channel there. So pretty minimal. Make sure there's not intruding on the beat. Effects or whatever, just crank those up. They're pretty quiet. Alright, so that sounded pretty good. Looks like our whole track is peaking at about -6, which is pretty good. It means everything's pretty balanced. We don't have anything too major loud spots or anything. It's good to jump around your track too. Make sure there isn't a section that is louder than another. Alright, so -6 seems to be about the sweet spot. A lot of people will just continue from here with leaving that -6 decibels of headroom. But I do not add enough processing to gain that back up, and I do not like cranking the maximizer up too much. So I'm going to go ahead and raise this pre-master up almost back up to the top. So we should have about 2 decibels of headroom to work with now on our master channel. Alright, so first we're just going to throw a little compression on the master channel here. It's just going to kind of glue everything back together, just the teeniest of amounts. 2.5 to 1. A little bit of an attack there. See, just a decibel of gain reduction. We still got 2 decibels of headroom to work with, it looks like. So yeah, we'll make up that gain maybe a tad. Just a teensy bit. Alright, that should do us. And now we add the magical isotope. This is a sweet plugin. I highly suggest it for your mastering. It's expensive, but it's worth every penny. So yeah, got a couple decibels of headroom going in still, which is good. We're gonna add a little bit of processing, nothing too crazy, but so isotope. Alright, so I usually start with an EQ here. I change it to mid-side. In the mid frequency or the mid range, I boost it a little bit, 0.4 or something like that decibels, lower the high ends, and then I jump over to the side channel and I do the opposite, lower the low end and bump the high end a little bit. We're going to do this more in stereo imaging next, but just subtle changes again. Stereo imaging, I like to work with only 3 bands. You can work with 4, maybe more, I'm not even sure, but 3 bands seems to be enough for me. So this stereo imaging tool is going to show us on the stereo frequency where everything's sitting. I usually set the crossovers at about 3.5 kilohertz and about 110 hertz for the bass. So solo the bass, and you should see a straight line here because you want everything in your bass to be mono for the most part. So that's pretty close, but we're going to go ahead and drag it all the way down just to guarantee everything's down there. Switch to the mid. Looks like we've got a lot of range, a lot of width here. That looks good. Jump to the highs. Looks pretty good as well, actually. Add a teensy bit more. Alright, so that should do it for that. Again, subtle changes, but it all adds up, trust me. Harmonic exciter. I don't ever add anything to the bass. You do not want that to be too harmonic. And a little goes a long way here. Don't overdo it. You can hear that, crackling. So just a little bit. Get your highs, add some harmonics to your highs. I bring the mix down. This is like a dry wet as far as I understand. So yeah, again, subtle changes. Multi-band dynamics. Now I've been jumping around in this section a lot on what I actually do here, so again, if I'm screwing something up big time, somebody just let me know. But this is the process that I'm at now. It's 2-to-1 ratio. You want to deal with the bulk of the bass there. You can see the gain reduction coming into the top graph. Turn that auto gain back on, so whatever you lose in compression, you're boosting back up. Do the same with the mids. Not a very aggressive ratio here. 1.5 to 2 should do it. You don't want to be crushing it too much. I don't really ever like to go over 6 decibels of crunch here. So you can see that's just it's compressing pretty hard, but it really glues the track together well here. Do the same for the highs. Don't need anything very aggressive. That's the limiter on the left side here. Use that to cut off whatever's poking through. Alright, so that should do it. Nothing too crazy. It's always good to A-B everything. Turn it off, turn it back on, so you can hear everything. It sounds maybe a little louder without it, but more glued together with it. So we want to glue together. The last step is going to be the maximizer. As soon as you turn this on, you'll notice a hit on your CPU. I use IRC3 just to do interception, intersample detection on. And then yeah, we crank this bad boy out. You can see the gain reduction here in the top. Again, I don't like to ever crunch anything with more than 6 decibels of gain reduction. The RMS meter over here is kind of how you can gauge where you're at. I'm trying to find a balance between continuing to have dynamic range, but gaining that perceived volume so that your track will stand out. You don't want somebody going through SoundCloud and getting to your track and they can barely hear it. So sounds pretty good to me. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and render this and kind of just take a look at what's happening. Maybe do a fade out here on the melody. Everybody knows it's the end of the track here. Nice and gentle. Alright. Alright, select everything that's in the range you need and go ahead and render that bad boy. I don't do any dithering or anything like that. Stay organized again, can't emphasize that enough. Ooh, I need this track saved. I'm messing up big time here on saving shit, but that's alright. At this point I usually name, this is the file we were working on before. I changed this to MIDI, so I can go back and change a bass line if I need to, or rearrange drums, and then I just render it and drop it back into this mixdown file. So we'll call this Breezy Mixdown. Nice and saved. Alright, so Control-Shift-R for a render. Go ahead and export that bad boy. Know where you put it. Alright. So we'll fast forward through this so that you don't have to watch. And the next step for me is usually to drop the track into Traktor, which is a DJing software. It has a nice auto gain feature that kind of gives me a bearing of where the track is at as far as perceived volume. Yeah, it's nice to work with a reference track inside of your mass or your mixdown as well, but we didn't do that here. So we're just gonna go ahead, export this. Alright, so we'll go ahead and open up Traktor here. Just drop the track in. Traktor will need to analyze it first, so I drop it in the left track here. It analyzes, and then I turn the auto gain on the right track, bring it over at 1.8. So Traktor thinks it needs to turn this track up 1.8 decibels to be loud. This is also a nice way to check out your waveforms. I'm pretty familiar with how a track should look in this view. I like the colored spectrogram, or whatever it's called, that happens here. So, alright, looks pretty good. Looks like we could get a little bit more volume out of it, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the sub bass down a decibel. And I'm going to crank up our maximizer just a bit here. Go ahead and give that a shot. Go ahead and export that. Yeah, I mean these two plugins are doing a lot here. You can see that difference, hear that difference. I mean a lot of it's loudness, but a lot of it's, yeah, Isotope is the shit. Go ahead and buy it. It's worth every penny. Turn the melody down a couple. Some room to breathe. Alright, we'll go ahead and export this again. Fast forward through this so you don't have to see it, and we'll be back in just a sec. Alright, so we let the track render again. I'm gonna go ahead and minimize and open Traktor back up. We'll need to delete the Traktor tags from the track, or else it will think it's the same loudness it did last time. Boom. Go ahead and load that in, let it analyze again. Turn on your auto gain over here. Boom, analyzed, and drag it over. There we go. So 0.8, so we gained a decibel of perceived loudness on that last run. The sub bass looks a little tighter. Yeah, I don't think the audio is going to record through Traktor. Some weird audio setup I've got here, but waveforms look pretty good. Yeah, they look pretty damn good, honestly. Okay, so Alright, I think I'm going to try one more quick render here. Just going to turn that sub bass down a little bit more. It really doesn't take that much. I mean, it does take the most energy to reproduce sub bass, but it still doesn't need to be that loud. It's something I struggled with for a long time, but more and more I ended up turning it down. So go ahead and replace that. Render it up again. I will fast forward this and see you in just a second. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and open up Tractor. Delete the tags so we can get a fresh analyze. Auto gain on. Turn bass back on. And 0.8, so the same, but cleaner sound waves. Yeah, that looks good. That looks really good. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. A lot of other pro tunes will be loud. Like, it's turning that one down. I've had it turn tracks down 5 decibels, which just seems ridiculous, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is a pro track here. It got turned up a little bit, so looks like we're pretty good in the perceived volume. As long as I'm within about a decibel of 0, I seem to be happy. So yeah, there's just a couple last steps I usually do. Go ahead and open the track, the WAV file that we last exported. Here she is. And go ahead and cut off the intro, or lack of intro. Cut off the blank space though. You just want a little gap in between the start. That works good. And then at the end here, we're just going to probably draw in another fade out. Yeah. This is Audacity, by the way. Sweet little free tool. I use this for all my vocal recordings because of the noise removal. It's got some awesome tools, but yeah, check it out if you're not using it already. That sounds pretty good. Make sure your sound is dead and out with a little gap on the end. Okay, perfect. So zoom back out here. Gonna go ahead and file export this. I'm gonna export this as a WAV file into my Beats folder. Yeah, I like to name my waves with wave just to keep everything nice and clean. Go ahead and export it. I leave all my stuff untagged so that if somebody buys the track, they can tag it themselves. I also exported MP3 just because I can, and it's nice to have my library in my media player be MP3s. Plus, I got all the digital storage in the world, so who cares? Alright. So after this is all exported here, I'm going to drop it into my media player, which is Winamp, and we'll have a listen from start to end, and that should just about do it. Yeah, drop this in here, breezy, boom. Alright, so yeah, have a listen. Thanks for watching. Yeah.